It is a beautiful baking day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we are going to be talking about Codename Lockdown. And what that is a team that I am assembling that is not on the meta, or at least not something that a lot of people are talking about as a potential team. And it is not perfected yet, as I'm still working to get certain toppings upgraded for the team. But I did want to at least go through and show you what it consisted of. And I'll explain all the reasons why. So pumpkin pie, almond cookie, adventure cookie, Kumio, and frost queen. Now, that does have some of the pieces to the cheese comp or the speed comps, so you will notice the similarities there. And part of what's going on here is that I'm trying to outrace my opponent to deal the killing blows and the massive damage before they have a chance to, because that's what the cheese comp does. So, my explanations of why I chose these cookies. Pumpkin pie, if you already don't know, she has a skill that is 18 seconds long, but her inner skill part makes it so that she only waits 1 second to summon Pom Pom. And so that's a big deal, because Pom Pom does a strike against the ground, and it deals some damage. It lowers healing if the team has any healing, which most teams do. And it's a sixth body on the field for them to fight. So that's important, especially when a lot of the hits are going to be coming out. If they have any cookies that target the front line, Pom Pom's going to be the one at the front line. So that will be important for that reason. So that's why I chose pumpkin pie. Almond, his skill, which I can actually upgrade. That's nice. His skill is not supremely fast. It's 15 seconds. But what he does, his damage link, will target specific cookies and then disperse the damage between them. And so what's important about that is that instead of me having to worry about specifically which cookies get targeted by my specific cookies, he will spread that damage almost equally out, which is good, because let's say I do a little bit too much damage to one cookie, then instead he will go ahead and send that damage towards some of the other cookies. So that's why I chose almond, for that reason. Adventure cookie, this one's not talked about at all. He has a 12-second cooldown. And I started noticing his power in the alliance mode with how often he can shackle a cookie. And at first I was like, okay, well, that's similar to the freeze and the stun and some of the other abilities the cookies have to delay or prevent cookies from doing things. And it actually very closely represents the freeze ability. It does not stop their abilities from cooling down. Don't get me wrong there. I just mean it's more time before they can do something. And so it's not traditional stun. So it's not something that Coco can actually prevent, like how she can prevent Sea Fairy and Tiger Lily and some of the other stuns. So that's why I chose Adventure. Plus, he's 12-second cooldown, so you'll see in the matches that I do as examples, he starts off really fast. And one of the matches I got lucky, I got to shackle an opponent's cotton. They didn't even get to heal, and I was able to put all the damage out quick enough to where I actually overwhelmed them. And that was pretty nice. And I put cooldown on him because I want his ability to go off as much as possible for that exact reason. Because that initial strike is based on the toppings, where afterwards it's based on toppings and your treasures. And I can discuss that further if that confuses anybody. Frost Queen, even though she has a long cooldown of 18 seconds, she has a very important ability. And that's the ability to stop the enemy's team's cooldown from moving. So if I'm lucky enough to shackle and stun and hit everybody before their abilities go off, and then I use Frost Queen to stop them even further from cooling down, then that just buys me even further time to hit them before I get hit back. And then last but not least, Kumio. Similar reasons. She has a 14-second cooldown, pretty good. Her transform state gives her the chance to stay alive a little bit longer, since that will take the damage before she does. And if she is able to charm a cookie, not only will it reduce their defense, but then they will not... It's like a stun. It's very similar, but it's not. So charmed is its own sub skill. It's a little hard to explain, but when it's used on you, you know what's happening. So I'm going to just pick some random people in the friends list. I'll go to my guild and pick some people, so that way you can see different battles. Now, one thing I do want to stress, I'm also using attack robes, because it's confirmed that the faster your attack speed is, the faster your animation plays out. Now, this is something I'm going to be covering in an upcoming video about caramel toppings, but I want not only my cooldown to be as quick as possible, but I want the animation to play as fast as possible. That way I have every upper edge against any opponent I go to. The only thing is, since I have no healing, I need to do it perfectly, because if they have healing, like this team does, I have a chance to just get outplayed for that exact reason. So let's go ahead and give it a run. And also note that they have a scroll level 6, where I have a level 9. That will make a difference in these results. Okay. So as you can see, I quickly shut down their rear team. Boom. They're just gone. I'm going to play that back in slower speed. I'm going to go to 1 time so that way you can see exactly what was happening there. Okay. Let's do that again. This time at 1 speed. So see, Adventure Cookie, boom, shackles the cotton. Frost Queen freezes them up. There's nothing left for their team to do. They hit me pretty hard. They do. Takes out my Adventure Cookie because he's lower level, less health, so that makes sense. But the rest of my team is doing their work. And they've won. Just like that. And so that's the idea behind the team. Now, I'm going to show you a situation where they're not going to win. And right now, that's because I don't have everyone perfectly leveled up, perfectly star fragmented, or perfectly topping optimized. So if I go to one of my other people, then this one will be harder because they have a level 9 scroll. So they're the same level scroll, about a little bit more power, but that's based on raw power, so that's okay. And they have a monocle. Now that monocle means any debuffs I put on them, they can be taken away. So that means there's a high potential that this team's going to beat me for that reason. Especially because they have a healer and 2 tanks. So we're playing at regular speed. Yeah, so I don't even stand a chance. Their abilities happen too quickly, too strong, just not able to keep up with it. And he can out-heal any of the damage I'm doing anyway. So that just didn't even have a chance for that reason. But that's okay. I'll show you different teams, different compositions, and how they play differently. So another one, for instance, we'll take this person. Okay, they have a level 7 scroll, and they are a cheese comp. So in technicality, if their stuff works faster, they'll beat me. But let's see. We'll see which activates quicker. If I shackle their almond cookie, their Sea Fairy just hit way too hard for me to keep up. But it's a close battle. It's actually a close battle. The pom-pom might actually... yeah, okay, the pom-pom looks like it might take this. It'll be very close. Super close. Super close. If my cookies had been leveled up just enough, I might have actually won that battle. And that's exactly why pom-pom and pumpkin pie is important, because that's that extra body. If that wasn't on the field, there was literally no way I was winning that. So that's an interesting one. Let's take someone who's Kingdom level 47. Okay, so they're using a robe, an HP buff, and a scroll team. This is interesting. This is a team I have not fought before. Let's see how it runs. Okay. Yep, so my shackle goes in, takes out their herb. That's their debuff resistance. Hits them hard with the Frost Queen. Another shackle. Yeah, there's no way they're taking that one. That was pretty interesting. Let's look at another one. I'll show you a high level one that I did test earlier that I know should take the win. So let's see. All right. So this one, level 10 scroll, level 10 feather, higher treasures than me, higher power than me. Here's the thing. I beat this team earlier. I might not right now. Maybe it was RNG earlier. But the reason I think I beat them earlier is because Coco prevents stuns. Stun debuffing. None of my team is focused on stuns. They're focused on other abilities that prevent stuff. Which means that invalidates one cookie. And when my adventure cookie goes off, it goes for the rearmost cookie, which is pure vanilla. Which means I invalidate one cookie. I stun their healing cookie. Therefore, all they have is just damage against my damage. So let's see if I win again like I did earlier today when I tested. So as I said, I was able to shackle down pure vanilla. And then he's still got the upper lead at the moment. So I probably got a lucky critical earlier when I tested this. And that's okay. I will give it one more test just to be double sure. Because I believe I beat them earlier today. But that may have just been luck. It's still good to see this and measure this. So that way you can see the different team compositions and what it might potentially work against. Good damage link. Good shackle. Okay. Yeah, I must have had a very lucky critical hit earlier today. And that is probably why. You know what? I think I remember what it was. I think I didn't have the Jelly Watch. I think I had the Scythe on. So I'm going to actually switch to that real quick. And we'll take it up to 1.5 times speed since we've already seen this battle twice. But let's change to the Scythe. So this will at least mean I should deal more damage. Let's see what we get. Yeah, his team is still out healing me. So I must have had a really lucky critical hit earlier today, which that's okay. Because that more just proves what I was about to talk about, which is that this team is not really a team that fights higher level treasures, higher level fragment and star cookies. Instead, it's more optimized to fight at same level and lower level without any problems. So it's not a perfect team by any means. It's not like the new meta team. But it's a fun team because if you can tweak it just right and make it fast enough, which I'm still working on, and I'll show you their toppings. So, for instance, 15% cooldown. Max can be 25%. Attack speed 3%. With chocolate toppings, I can get that to a maximum of 15%. And then damage resistance of 10%. Max with chocolate toppings is 30%. So I can almost triple his stats, not to mention leveling him up and getting his skill up even higher. So Adventure could be bigger to the point where he might really be a strong contender. Maybe, maybe not, but maybe. But his skill's so fast that I just love what he does. And then Kumio, the attack's high, the critical's really low, Damage resist, basically none. Cooldown, not great. Attack speed, decent. So if I was to get her toppings perfected, which I'm working on, as you can see my marking system here between all my toppings, if I could get her toppings perfected, they would be high attack, high cooldown, high attack speed. I just want her skill to activate as much as possible and do as much damage as I can. That's what I want Kumio to do. As far as Frost Queen, she almost has perfected cooldown, but she doesn't really have high attack speed or high critical damage or attack damage. I gotta raise all of those as well as the cooldown for it to really be truly the most powerful Frost Queen that I can build, to deal out the most damage and the fastest free stuns possible for the team lockdown to work, truly to work in higher competitive battles once my treasures are maxed out to level 12, like some of the other higher competitors. And then last but not least, of course, Pumpkin Pie. Right now, she has solid almonds. If you've seen my peanut topping video, this will make sense to you. If not, I'd recommend going to watch that because it would explain this more. But to simplify what I talked about in that video right here with Pumpkin Pie, is that she has a skill that Pom Pom comes out with 77.8% attack, equal to Pumpkin Pie's, 188% defense to Pumpkin Pie's, and 382% HP to Pumpkin Pie's. So right now, she's already at 72,000 HP. If I have a full peanut set on her that are maxed out to the fullest potential, she'd be well over 150,000 HP, which then, taking that skill, would mean you'd have a 500,000 HP Pom-Pom on the field to fight in the front lines defending your team. And that's pretty cool. But the peanut toppings video would explain it much better than that. That's just the simplification of it all. But thanks for stopping by.